Good morning, I'm Jason Smith and welcome to Beyond the Blueprint, where we explore all things new home construction across the Triad. Today, I'm joined with my good friend Elizabeth Ward, sales manager for D.R. Horton here in the Triad and the North Carolina broker in charge for D.R. Horton. D.R. Horton is the largest home builder in the United States. Elizabeth shares her insights and best practices as a national speaker, life coach, and author. Tell us about being an author.
Well, you know what? Arthur would be writing a book. I haven't got to that point yet,
Okay.
but I'm working on it.
All right.
But I have some audios. They're ancient. They're on CD. I would love to probably get them put in today's times to where I could have them on a podcast. But in my past life, when I was a co-broker, I was, very blessed. It was great success. With great success came a lot of hard lessons in time and time management.
And it talks about life balance.
I did.
Which is timeless, by the way.
It is.
I've been in the business. You've been in the business longer than I have.
Yes.
I've been in the business a little over 25 years.
Yes.
You're probably around 30 years.
30 this year.
So from year 1 to year 25 and 30, life balance is still probably more important.
It is more important, and I sometimes do not practice what I used to preach.
Well, I understand.
But I do know the skills, and I spent 3 years on the road. I absolutely loved that life. I still have some people that I still talk to today, and I'd say I life coach because I did that then on a personal one-on-one basis, but I life coach my team every day as a sales manager. So
it's our job.
But yeah, the 3B method, live busy, balanced, and blessed. Still to this day, true to my heart.
Good message, good
Thank
message.
you.
Today, we're going to talk about just the market as a whole. We're going to dabble in some different areas and get Elizabeth's perspective on some items. And one of the things I want to talk to is, to start out, is starter homes. What is that nowadays?
Our specialty.
Where does that start? I mean, so we used to have starter home communities everywhere. I mean, what we would call starter homes.
Yes.
Now, starter homes back 25 years ago were $150,000 plus or minus. Now where are they? I mean, what does that look like?
For me to have anything on the market with a 2 in front of it is impressive and difficult to build and have a margin. So yeah, starter homes is very different for us, but I will tell you, I do research all the time, and North Carolina, as well as just our area here in the Triad, is one of the one place that still does have homes with the 2 in front of it. So I love that. Greensboro, what I say, is still very much affordability, but that affordability has changed with the market. The homes that we used to sell for 200, or maybe let's even say 180, 12 years ago when I started, the homes that were selling 150 to 180, those plans are well over 300 now.
Yeah, and a lot of that's driven by not only construction and labor, but land cost.
Oh, land cost is a huge part of it.
You probably remember when you were purchasing lots for 20, 30, 40,000. Now it's 70, 80, 90, 100.
Yes.
Okay, so in your world, $100,000 for a lot is
it's detrimental.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
And I dabble in some of that, but I also do a lot of custom. We used to sell custom lots 60, 70. I mean, just last week we sold some lots 300.
Yeah.
So, but it's more like the mid to high ones on a nice custom project, but it's still all very relative.
Yes.
So, in your world, you guys have ratios of, what a lot to home ratio, and that's how you determine, and to some degree, how some deals may or may not work.
Right.
There's obviously other factors, but this starter home is fascinating to me in that, where do they go now? Like, so do you have communities across the Triad where you have some homes with the 2s in front of them?
I do.
Okay.
Still, so surprising.
3 bedrooms?
Yes, sometimes 4 bedrooms. Okay. And everything is price driven, truly based back on the lot price and the area, what the market can bring. I do have to give full disclosure. I cover the Greensboro Triad market.
Yes.
In the Central Carolina division, our home base is Raleigh, which is a completely different market. Greenville, New Bern area, completely different market. But I do watch everything. We have Asheville, which is a different market. Everywhere is different, and everybody operates a little bit differently, as well as all across the entire country. So anything I say today, I have to only say that I can speak for my market. But we are blessed that our market is still affordable. Our tax value is still affordable. Our tax rate is still affordable. Where I feel like we do have some issues in area, and I'd love to get more with our government, is jobs. We need more jobs. We need more laborers. I ride up and down 40 all the time, and it's very disappointing. Where I see a lot of growth is warehouses and big, large storage facilities and businesses, which is great, but that is not employment. That's AI or a computer or 5 people running a a 20,000 square foot building. So it's not jobs. We need more jobs, and thankfully we are getting some, which is great for our area, but without jobs and workforce, makes it very difficult to continue to have that successful drive.
I was just meeting with one of my good friends, Edsel Charles, who owns Market Graphics out of Brentwood, Tennessee, this morning, and we're just talking about supply demand, the shortage of home sites and in sub-markets or where things are going, and but we do have a lot shortage. That's no secret.
Right.
Now, every time I turn around, D.R. Horton's buying property, so I think you're relatively speaking, you guys are leading the way, purchasing projects and putting lots and homes on the ground.
Yes.
So but even with what you're all doing, there's a lot more to be done.
Yes, and there's room for everyone.
Oh, of course. But my point is, we're seeing as we have this shortage, we're also starting to see, and there's many factors here with the interest rates and things, but we're starting to see days on market. We interviewed Tony Jarrett, Vice President Valentate, and he's going to have a couple podcasts with us. But one of the things we're talking with Tony about is days on markets going up.
Yes.
We're starting to see price adjustments.
Yes.
We haven't seen that in a long time. And even though demand is high and inventory is low, you wouldn't expect to see some of that. Do you guys see any of that?
We do. We've, D.R. Horton from our Texas headquarters, they're very smart people in the boardroom. And we're doing, we do a lot of things that help the consumer to be able to afford a home. Our up to $10,000 in closing costs was the start of that. And then we have builder forward incentive money, which, we have some communities that can buy down our rates for a very low interest rate compared to what's out there in the marketplace. So those are gifts and benefits to the consumer that can walk in the door to help them buy. That does affect the margin. It does affect the bottom line. But at the end of the day, our goal is to sell homes. We have numbers that we want to make sure that we hit on a weekly basis, and that's how we've ran this business, how Mr. Horton set up the business to run since he started it. So we're very goal driven, but the market plays a huge factor in that. So we're ahead of the game, I feel like.
So when you set up a neighborhood, a new community,
Yeah.
and you're getting ready to start, okay, we're going to start X number of homes, and that we were talking earlier off camera, some of that depends on the developer and how many lots are recorded and on the ground ready to go. Lots of factors.
Yes.
But when you decide you're doing that, I'm assuming you guys put together some kind of pro forma that says, okay, we have this, we need to, hit these are our sales goals. Well, to reach these sales goals, we need to have this many people through the door because you know what your conversion rates are.
That's right.
Is that a moving target for you?
Oh my gosh.
Because for me, I do that in all of our projects, and it doesn't matter if it's your projects or custom or, you still have to do these pro formas, and you have to, because that's how you get your goals.
Yes.
That's how you kind of see if you're going to be successful and what you need to be successful. So you have to have something to aim for. And even though it is a moving target, it's so important.
Yes. Do you ever have any regrets in life, Jason?
All the time.
So my one regret, and I love my life. I wouldn't change a whole lot about it. But the one thing that I have said, and I will always say it, is if I could go back and make some changes. I trained under a developer. I trained with Coldwell Banker. The gentleman owned the company, was a developer. My biggest regret is not learning more from him.
Yeah.
Being a sponge in the back room of putting dirt together. And I did a lot. I did participate, Somerton and Burlington. I went when it was nothing but woods and helped lay out. But there's so much to developing, but that's where the money's at. Yeah. And we don't have enough developers here in our area developing land. So we are tied to what they put together. Our lot fit, our home fit, the size of our homes and how they fit have to fit the lots that they sell us. And so when we get a beautiful layout of a community, we're all excited, but then does the lots fit that market? Does the home fit that market and that price? All of those questions, there's so much that goes into that. So I guess my one regret was not having my knowledge of sales and going in and developing.
Right.
Because that's the question. You have to fit, a round whole peg in a square box. It's not going to always work.
Yeah, rarely does
Very rarely. It's not, And so we have a community right now, and 6 months ago, green lighted that neighborhood because I was excited about the location and the address for that neighborhood. But however, now as we're rolling out, I've had to go back and walk it and realize not all of our product fit on the lot. It was very small product that's going to fit on the lot, and the address deemed a higher sale price product. So I'm back in, and which is okay. It's going to work out. The market needs that first time buyer product and that smaller footprint of a home. But for that product, if I could go back, I would have rather have had something else.
Yeah.
But I'm tied to that because we only have so many developers in the area that are putting out lots, and that's our choices.
Well, what is your yield like to multifamily and single family? So I feel like I feel like
townhomes.
We do so
we
much.
have so many townhomes.
I feel like every piece of property we look at nowadays, we run into can we do single family or we have to do multifamily because of density, and the cost of the property.
It's the cost of the land, everything. Look at the market.
I'm assuming your townhome inventory is growing.
Yes, but why? The answer is because
density.
The cost of the land has increased. They're not making any more land. We can't create more earth. We can't create more dirt. You can't fill ponds and build on those. So where the dirt has cost more for the developer to make money, the density, they get more homes by a higher density. And then you also have to listen to each one of your jurisdictions. Certain jurisdictions are not wanting the density. They don't have the infrastructure for it. So there's just so many rules in the playbook on that. But D.R. Horton has been founded on a really great land acquisition team that does all that. I'm thankful. I don't do all of that. I've spent time with it, and I understand it, and I know it, but it is a great land team with building, communication and relationships with developers. I like to say we've tried to build a wall in the Triad to not let anyone come in, but I say there's room for everyone, but they're going to have to compete with us. And we do have market share in the Triad, and that's because we've been here for a long time, and we've done a lot right, thankfully, and good communication and good developers and good people.
They have a good land guy.
We have a great land guy. My first hire, by the way.
He's one of my good friends.
Yes,
But,
Brad Yoder, fantastic guy.
So let me ask you, with all the product you have across the board, I mean, I know they're like your children, and there's no ugly children. But what seems to be your best product, your best selling product today? And it may change, by the way. But today, what is your best selling product?
It changes all the time. But if you've heard the name Cali, in our area, it's the ranch. It's a 4-bedroom, 1-level home. It was Mr. Horton's favorite plan. It came when we started the Freedom lineup, which is a more maintenance-free living. We had the Freedom lineup that was once part of the D.R. Horton family of brands. Now we're back to just everything is D.R. Horton. It's one brand, and we have products all over. Right. But the Cali is one of our most popular plans. That Cali may be called something else in Texas. It may be called something else in Tennessee. But most people use it as the Cali because it's Mr. Horton's favorite plan. But it's a ranch 1-level, great plan. And the difference in that Cali is you can go and look at it all across the Triad. It may be pushing $400,000 in Mebane, right up against Chapel Hill, Orange County, and it may be $300,000 in Lexington. That difference is lot cost.
Yeah.
Period.
That's all it is.
So the one good thing I like to say about us is find a plan you love, depending on where you work, and if you're remote, you can go where the taxes are the lowest and have the best house for the least amount of money.
Great. I want to jump back to one thing I forgot to ask a minute ago. During all of this interest rate, heightened interest rates, you guys were able to offer a lower interest rate. Was it 4.9? Or what did I?
3.99,
3.9, okay.
4.50, 4.9. We've had
So-
all numbers out
So
there.
I can only imagine that's been a huge success
Yes.
for you guys in moving product.
Yes.
Because folks, I mean, I've heard it.
Yes.
So, and I've seen you promoting it, and I got to believe that kind of drove you through some of that market where a lot of folks were just kind of sitting, because they weren't able to move stuff because of rates.
Right.
You were able to do something like that, and that,
We were.
that's the result of being the largest builder in the country. You have a lot
It
of
wasn't-
opportunities to do
Yes.
things.
It cost the company millions and millions and millions of dollars, which was margin deterioration for the company. But at the end of the day, it was a units win. We sold homes. We
Yeah.
put people in homes that could not at the time. That's, I still to this day, Mr. Horton's passed away, and if every day at the end of the day I can say that if he picked up the phone when he was alive and called me, I always answered, yes, I did the best thing I could do for you today. Now, in my prayers, I can still say, I'm going to carry your legacy on to make homeowners, to put people in homes. And our great finance partners were able to help us, and with the help of the company, D.R. Horton, we put people in homes when people couldn't afford it because of the rate. So that's a win-win all day long. Did it cost us money? Yes. But was it the right thing to do at the right time? Very much so.
Right. So I want to ask a question now. Let's forecast a little bit.
Okay.
So, we
crystal
are where we are
ball.
today, and 3 years, 5 years. What do you see happening? And it's going to lead into my next question.
Okay.
So I'm going somewhere with this.
Okay.
But where do you see things going in the next 3 to 5 years? The way you do business.
Growth, unbelievable growth. We've had the most growth. We're at 30% growth from last year. That growth comes from great land positions.
That's amazing in a land crisis
in
market.
a land crisis market, we have carried the inventory.
Yeah.
My units number goals have increased significantly. I can recall when I first came in 2012, the current president at the time said we would never see double digits in Greensboro. Double digits mean 10 sales a month. I'm doing 10 sales a day sometimes. So it's growth, and it does come from the right land position.
Yeah.
It comes from the right product. It comes from doing it right, building it right. We have media all over the place wanting to push negative things, but we are driving customer service to a 5-star review with our customers. We have one of the top customer service scores in all of the nation. Divisions are calling us, thankfully, to ask us how we're doing that. And we're doing it because we put the customer first. We treat the customer like family. That's the number one Hortonism, is treat the customer like family.
And that's timeless.
It's timeless.
3 years, 5 years.
That's timeless. So growth. And, it could change. The product lineup could change. There's certain divisions. And again, I'm only speaking for mine,
Yes.
but certain divisions are trying tiny homes.
So
There's
is
the
everything-
cottages, the smaller products.
Is everything funneled now to online, and everything's online for you
Oh
guys?
my gosh, that change has definitely been since COVID.
Yeah.
The horror of COVID, terrible, terrible loss of lives for many, many people. So when you say COVID, people still have it's hard.
Yeah.
The good that came out of COVID was we learned how to do business differently. We never closed our models. We stayed. We showed homes. We sold homes. Oh my gosh, we went through more multiple offers that year than I've ever seen in my entire life. I couldn't believe that the flock of people to buying homes. But again, the reason why was their dissatisfaction in the home they were in grew because they were sitting in that house every day miserable. And then they realized they didn't like their kitchen. They didn't like their bathroom. They didn't like their bedroom. Apartments, we've sold more people in apartments because they realized I don't want to walk down the steps and touch what 500 people have touched. So COVID was good for the market. Not just new home sales, but everywhere. So that blessing has continued to grow for us to learn the digital online push. We went virtual.
Right.
We went to virtual online sales team. We have 5 amazing online salespeople that take the call first, and they're funneling that to our salespeople. So
they're setting appointments.
they're setting majority of the appointments. We push our team to still have 5 personal appointments on their own, which is a struggle because everything is being geared through the online world. But they've got their relationships, so they're making it happen.
That's where that broker relations come in.
Yes, and our
like
partners work. But everything is online driven. Digital marketing is bigger now than it has ever been before. Social media is bigger now than it, I hate to hear the statistics of how long people stay on their phone and waste time.
Terrible.
But it's out there. People do it. So we are pushing all of our team to make sure they're driving social media.
Yeah.
Personally, myself, just started the tiki-taki. So, it is what it is. The market's ever changing.
Yeah.
But for homeowners, there's a lid for every pot.
That's right. That's right. So that leads me into one of my final questions is people now buy cars out of vending machines.
Yes.
They can go online, push a couple buttons, and the car shows up in their driveway.
Yes.
They may take their other car with them.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I don't know that we can get that technical here in the real estate world, but
it is.
Do you ever see anything like that coming in the future?
We have it already.
Oh, really?
We already have it.
Wow.
Our division is not again, as I said, I can only speak for our area.
Correct.
But our amazing marketing team from Texas does have that capability. It is in our system to where you can buy online. We have not opened that up here. However, we have done online offers. So actually, it's so funny you said this. I just spent the entire day Friday making sure all of our releases were in that system, pushing out to anyone that has ever been on a wait list with us. So if they're on the wait list, they got notification of everything that had been released in the Triad. And they had the ability to push a button and make an offer online. And that pops up in a queue for me. I contact the agent and say, we have an offer. So it's there. And then there is also the ability from the website, that's what we have not opened yet, for people to be able to buy online. It's there. And it could be coming.
I am old school. So
you and I both.
I'm evolving, but I always love to learn and hear these things. That's amazing.
Yeah,
it's fascinating.
It is. And I'm so proud of our marketing team for being ahead of the game. We're following, it's not just trends, we listen to what the consumers are saying. And if you're relocating, if you just got a transfer from Cincinnati to North Carolina, you're not here yet. That's the only way that they're able to do that is virtually or through the internet. So the more that we can build that platform and do better there, it can only help us.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Just technology is amazing.
Yes.
Generally
Scary,
speaking.
but amazing.
Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us for a few minutes.
You're welcome.
I hope our listeners will enjoy this. And
hope so.
check us out in future podcasts, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.